Why so? There's many reasons. I don't want to talk about this, but I want to tell how the situation is so worse there, beginning with China's war on Islam and faith. Many think, academia, many people, this is situation of human rights, that China not respecting the human rights of the Uyghur Muslim. It's not. They're attacking on faith and Islam. In official media, parties' policy, Chinese Communist government's plan, they see Islam, religion of Islam, Islamic faith, as a virus, mental diseases, Muslim as a backwardness, not normal. They want to eradicate our faith from us and change us and transform us for somebody not believe on Islam. And there's many questions why China's doing this. I have a book, Menace, China's Colonization of Islamic World and Uyghur Genocide. I try to explain those situations in details. But I want to tell one thing, that Islam protect Uyghur Muslims not to become assimilated. Imagine. So, to assimilate us, the Chinese Communist government want to take from our soul, our heart, the religion of Islam. They don't want to make it unbelievable. So, mulhad. So, this is going on. So, in details, it's not I'm telling them, there's a proof, document, even in Chinese media, burning of the Quran, demolishing mosques, destroying cemeteries, forbidden all elements of Islamic beliefs to live it, separating children with the family and the orphanages and raising them as an atheist Han Chinese. That's going on. And I cannot explain how to explain it, it's very difficult to explain. If you killed in our belief and religion, you're shaheed. Done. But to transform yourself, regret our religion, denounce your religion, become somebody else, it's worse than death. That's what we're living through. And as you see, as Sister Astrid introduced to you, we live almost 30 years in Western country. We went to churches, synagogues, left, right organizations, asking them to help us. You know what they say? Why don't the Muslims help you not? So, this is what we want is that the students, the academia, know about this issue. And I always tell you we came here for two things. I repeat this in my speeches. We ask your help to stop this genocide as a Muslim brother, as a human being. Same time, we want to help you to save independence, sovereignty of your country. We want to help you. That's what happened today to us as a Muslims, not happen to you or somebody else. Take an ibrat from us. We are here for two reasons. We want your help, and we can help you with our experience. Because as a one Muslim nation, living on the border, on the east gate from the Islamic world, we know how the Chinese communists think, act, speak, plan, and cheat. We know that because we lived through and paid heavy price for it. We want to share this issue with everybody. And we were on the way here meeting with many organizations, but I think we want with the Majlis National Kahmi on the youth organization, I think we want to work with you to educate Indonesian population and the Muslim about this issue. We can provide information, data, fact. If you need witness, we can connect you. So that the students, the future leader of this country, at least should have the knowledge about this issue, because it's in the national interest of Indonesian population and the states. So I don't want to talk long, but meantime, let me please thank Sister Astrid. We came Sunday evening. We never been here. The next day on Monday, she came to us. From that time on, every day, 24 hours, organizing meetings and organizing transportation, and very good. We think, when we walked out from our home without any connection, we say, Bismillah Akbar, we go to Indonesia. And Allah sent angels, and everyone, Jazakallah khair.
Thank you so much for organizing this event tonight. And thank you, Dr. Bambang Susanto, and the leadership of CAPI. So as mentioned at the opening remarks of Dr. Susanto and our sister Astrid, this is something that the Indonesian general public know of, but maybe not the details. And especially, there are a lot of disinformation and the false narratives by the Chinese Communist regime. And they are trying to justify what they are doing by claiming that this is about radicalized Uyghur Muslims, and through those camps, millions of the Uyghurs are being detained. They are going through de-radicalization, and those are vocational training centers. They are teaching job skills to those people. That's why the people who are being detained are university professors, university presidents, and the masters and the PhD students, successful business people who own factories and employ hundreds of the Uyghurs, and religious leaders, famous writers, scholars, and even the pop stars. There's a guy named Ablajan Ayub. He was known as Justin Bieber of the Uyghurs. He's a pop star. And he's also taken and disappeared for past 5 years for being a radicalized Uyghur Muslim. So I'm going to go through some pictures. Should I have it here just to go through? Okay. So look at these people. The Chinese government claims that those are vocational training centers or re-education centers. But look at the double barbed wires on two sides. And as you see, those are all armed guards. And remember, none of these people are charged with any crimes. Those are just taken. Next. If I just quickly explain who the Uyghurs are. The Uyghur people lived in the land we call East Turkestan, the Chinese Communist regime calls the Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region, for more than 2,000 years. And that picture you see is Token Bilga Hakan, one of the kings from 744 to 1335, the kingdom that lasted at that time. And the Uyghurs contributed to the world civilization for many years. And the Manchu dynasty invaded our homeland in 1876 and renamed the province Xinjiang, which means in Chinese, new territory or new borderland. In October 1949, the Chinese Communist Party, when they established People's Republic of China, they occupied, and we are being under the occupation of China ever since. Next, please. And this is the map of our homeland. As you see, that part here, it's about 1/6 of entire China. And it's being neighbored with Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, and the Tajikistan, and the little corner is Afghanistan. And on the east, Mongolia, north of Tibet. And majority of the land is desert. It's sandwiched between high mountains on the north, desert, and high mountains in the middle, and desert, and high mountains on the south. So we all know what's under the desert, right? Petroleum, natural gas. 1/3 of China's total oil reserves comes from our homeland. And it's very high on the fossil fuel and also uranium, gold, and jade, or the precious metals and minerals. And it produces 84% of China's total cotton output. Next, please. That's the current situation now. Complete surveillance police state. If you have read the book 1984, and it describes the Orwellian system, George Orwell's book. Checkpoints on every corner, GPS tracking devices on every vehicle, QR scanning codes on every home, facial recognition softwares, iris scanning networks, and the people are going through airport-style checkpoints like the one on the bottom. The Uyghur people are not only taken to the concentration camps by the millions, they are also sent to the forced labor facilities by the millions. Crematorias being built next to the concentration camps for a Muslim culture that doesn't practice cremation. Next, please. And some more pictures. What you see is like a war zone, but no. This is the capital city. And that picture on the bottom, look at the like a 3 armed policemen everywhere. That's university courtyard. The students and the professors and teachers sitting there. Next. And those are the some satellite imagery and the outside of the concentration camps that Chinese government claims that those are the schools. If they are schools, then why there's watchtowers, barbed wire, armed guards, and the complete surveillance, and nobody can go out, nobody can come in. And this word here is by the Chinese government's document. It says, teach like school, those facilities, manage like the military, and defend like a prison. And that's their own words. Next. Some more pictures from the inside of the camps. And those rooms on the right, that's where they spend day and the night. The day they go through the indoctrinations, and at night they sleep in those rooms. And you cannot even have enough room to lay down. So they take turns by hours. So many people lay down for 4 or 5 hours. They get up and the others come lay down. Next. So those are some of the things can lead to the concentration camps. Having a beard on your face, facial hair, can be a reason. Speaking your native language, refraining from smoking or drinking, wearing a shirt with Arabic letterings, using WhatsApp on your phone, and traveling abroad to the Muslim majority countries. The Chinese government claims to be friends with Turkey, Malaysia, Indonesia, or Saudi Arabia, but anybody who ever traveled to any of those Muslim majority countries, they are being labeled as terrorists, or radicalized people who exposed to the terrorism. So means the Muslim majority countries supposed to be terrorists there. Next.
Shanghai airport. A sign says, special passengers who are transporting human organs. So the Uyghurs went through mandatory DNA collection and a health check in the end of 2016. And we were wondering what was that for. We thought maybe China was trying to come up with some sort of biological weapons. But then, halal organs being advertised in a hospital in China proper for Arabic-speaking countries. Halal organs means the organs come from the Muslims' bodies. And in our culture, we don't donate body parts. So where the hearts, the lungs, and the kidneys come from, they don't grow on the trees. Next, please. And that is before and after picture in the same place, in the city Kuchar. The place that the Uyghur Muslims used to come right after sunrise and sell their goods and they cook and they talk and they trade and then go home at night. During sunlight, anytime from morning to the end, always like this, the one on the left. The one on the right is now. During the sunlight, where are the people? Next, please. And those are some of the brave camp victims, former camp victims, who are speaking out and testifying what they were subject to in the camps. Intense political indoctrination, forced to forsake their religion, ethnicity, and they are subject to mental and physical torture, systematic mass gang rape, and also given unknown medications. The Uyghur Muslims are being used as guinea pigs to testing a different medicine. Next, please. When the Chinese government claims those camps for de-radicalization, and those people are threat to China's national security. That grandma who's 85, 86 years old, who's taken because she prayed once at home. What kind of threat? A grandma like her, taken by the police, 85 years old grandma, what kind of national security threat she will be to a country like China? That picture on the corner, she is bringing alcoholic cocktail beverage because mosque converted to a bar, nightclub. Next, please. If somebody says anything that insults Prophet Muhammad or insulting our Holy Quran, the entire Muslims around the world goes out and they protest against it. And when there was one priest in Florida said he was going to burn one copy of Quran, I remember entire world Muslims went on the streets and protested. There you go. Chinese government is not just saying it, they're burning it. Burning millions of copies of Qurans, the books with the hadith and the ayah, and any kind of like praying rugs or any kind of religious and cultural books are being burned. And that, anybody reads Chinese, that one on the corner, it says, Meng Hui Ha Shi Jiu Ba, is a bar. A mosque converted to bar again. This woman here is taken by the police because she had some religious books, copy of Holy Quran, and she's taken as an Islamic extremist. And not just the mosques, even churches are being demolished. Next, please. This got doubled. Next, please. Yeah, and look at that mosque being demolished. So, from 24,000 mosques in our homeland, 1/3 have been demolished, 1/3 have converted to bars and cafe and karaoke bars, 1/3 remains for tourists. Even the ones that's being remained, next please, they begin like this. Chinese flag over it. We're supposed to have Bismillahirrahmanirrahim and the La ilaha illallah, any kind of symbols, changed to Aidam, Aigo, like I love party. I love the motherland. So please, the people are supposed to pledge themselves to the Chinese Communist Party. Next, please. And those are the children of the Uyghurs. They were dressed and brainwashed by the traditional Chinese. And those clothes, even the Chinese people don't wear them. Look at their faces. They belong to their family. They belong to their parents. But they've taken away to state-run orphanages, the one on the right corner. That doesn't look like some sort of orphanage or like a daycare. It looks like prison with double-wired, high walls, police guards with guns at the front, and they are locked up there day and night. Next, please. When the Chinese government says radicalized Muslims, we are not talking about hijab or long dresses. Look at them, just long shirts if they wear. They are subject to humiliation on the street. The officials coming over cutting their shirts off. If anybody wearing a shirt like me, a long shirt, they will come and cut it from here. Otherwise, the long shirts means the extremism. Next, please. And that is from Xinhua.net, Chinese government's official website. Those imams, and that's from 2013, 2014, so these people had this years. Now they don't even have that. They were humiliated to send on the streets to dance in the public to rock and roll music. They were jumping up and down, dancing on the streets. Imams, look at them. 60, 70 years old imams. Next, please. And that is adhan, called the prayer, and they changed to make it compatible with Chinese ideology. So when the imam of this mosque calls for call the prayer, we are the children of fatherland, we are the children of the fatherland, and our homeland is great, and we pray for unity, stability, and development and prosperity of our homeland. So Chinese government is changing Islam to make it compatible with Chinese atheist communist ideology. Next, please. This picture was in Ramadan, and they are having beer drinking contest. And this one, I don't have the date, but I have another picture with the date. And I checked on Google that date. That was like second week of Ramadan. Second week of Ramadan, during daylight, they are forced to drink beer. And they serve lunch during lunch in the Ramadan to schools, to workplaces. Anybody who doesn't eat or drink means he's fasting, and he sent to the concentration camp. Next, please. And this is the saddest part. Chinese government is not only waging an open war against Islam and using Islam to conduct government-sponsored mass rape of the Uyghur women in the name of sham marriages. The Uyghur women are forced to marry Han Chinese men while China is offering money, housing, and jobs. If she says no for such a forced marriage, herself, her siblings, her parents will be sent to the concentration camps in the name of extremist, radicalized Muslim who didn't want to marry non-Muslim Han Chinese. She cannot refuse such a marriage. So she has to marry the Han Chinese person. Next. And this is from the Chinese government's own media. They claimed 1.1 million Han Chinese men sent to Uyghur homes to live with the Uyghur families, when most men, husbands, are sent to the concentration camps or forced labor facilities or the prisons, the women at home are subject to sexual abuse by the Chinese officials in their own home, on their own bed. Next, please. There's a video. When we play that, take a look. This guy who's smiling, laying there in bed, that's one. There's the second one in the black too. There's one more, three. Three Han Chinese men, and there's one videotaping. And there's a woman on the right-hand side with a baby, infant in her arm. So imagine what happens to her when this guy puts down the taping, the camera. She is being raped, gang raped by 4 men in her bed. Play please. That is your Uyghur Muslim sister. Next, please. After going through forced sterilization of the Muslim Uyghur women, forced abortions given to them if they are pregnant, and the forcibly inserting IUD devices in their bodies, the Uyghur birth rate dropped by 50%. And then the Chinese embassy in the US, this is their official tweet. They were so proud of their genocidal policies, and this is how they tweeted. Uyghur women in Xinjiang were emancipated, and gender equality and productive health were promoted, making them no longer baby-making machines. That's how they tweeted last year. And because we complained to the Twitter, many people tweeted with comments and basically naming and shaming this government. The Twitter removed this tweet and they suspended the Chinese embassy's Twitter account. But if you Google with the Chinese embassy in the US and then that word, no, Uyghur women no longer baby-making machines, you will see the articles with screenshot with this tweet. Next, please. This is actual title of a report by Australian Strategic Policy Institute, because Uyghurs are being sold on your watch today in 21st century by the thousands to the brands that you all know, you all buy, and you all use. And they are even offering, like if you buy 2,000 Uyghur laborers, we will send 10 police for free to guard them. Next, please. And between 2017 and 2020, basically over 1 million Uyghur workers were transferred outside of our homeland to China proper as slaves being sold. Next, please. I am talking to you today at the cost of my own sister's freedom. When I spoke out those genocidal policies, outlining the fate of my in-laws, my husband's entire family, my parents-in-laws, 3 of his sisters and their husbands, and his brother and his wife, 14 of their children were taken from summer of 2017.